Hello, everyone, and welcome. Let's take a moment to arrive in this space, breathe together, and open our hearts and minds to the reflections of the past week. And because I'm late, sorry about that. This past week, May 4th through the 10th, was heavy with remembrance and calls for action. We marked Firefighters Memorial Day and International Firefighters Day, honoring the courage and sacrifice, their courage and sacrifice. It was also the time of remembrance and recollection for those who lost their lives during World War II, and Victory in Europe Day, promoting reflection on the costs of conflict and the ongoing work for peace. We also remembered the Kent State shooting, the stark reminder of the consequences when dissent is met with violence. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza remained a major focus in alternative news, with many sources calling Israeli military actions genocidal and documenting the severe impact on civilians and aid efforts. Pro-Palestinian activism continued to face suppression in Western nations, linking this conflict to broader critiques of U.S. imperialism and foreign policy. This calls on our deepest UU, Quaker, and Rising Tide values for justice, compassion, and the inherent worth of every person. Pacifist principles urge us to decry violence and seek peaceful resolutions, while anarchist and socialist lenses critique the state power and imperialist dynamics at play. The policies and actions of the Trump administration were again under intense scrutiny across pacifist, anarchist, socialist, or PAS sources, with concerns about aggressive immigration enforcement, attacks on labor rights, environmental rollbacks, and threats to free speech. These were often framed not as isolated issues, but as symptoms of deeper systemic problems within capitalism and the state. Facing such reports can feel overwhelming. It's important to acknowledge these feelings, but also to seek accurate information and support community efforts working for accountability and change. Recognizing patterns helps us move from feeling helpless to seeking collective, healthy responses. Amidst these critiques, we also saw calls for peace and solidarity. Anarchist sources highlighted grassroots solidarity with those resisting in Ukraine. Concerns were raised about India Pakistan tensions, with calls for de escalation and recognizing how nationalism can fuel conflict. And organizations like the Global Peace Foundation reported on peace building initiatives focusing on dialogue and community empowerment. This speaks to the rising tide value of extending hands of service and the Quaker Testament testimony for peace. It's about seeking non-violent solutions and building connections across borders, a core tenet of global cooperation. The week also brought reminders of care for ourselves and each other. It was National Nurses Week, Teachers Appreciation Week, and International Midwives Day, honoring those in vital caring professions. National Renewal Day and World Laughter Day invited us to seek joy and restoration. Greenery Day and National Public Gardens Day called us to heal to healing power to the healing power of nature. These are vital for our well-being. International No Diet Day encouraged body acceptance. National Silence the Shame Day and Children's Mental Health Awareness Day highlighted the importance of mental health. Connecting with these moments of appreciation, practicing gratitude, and seeking joy are acts of resilience. The week also celebrated community and creativity. We had Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you, and Revenge of the 5th, International Mariachi Week, and National Cartoonist Day. Even Puppy Mill Action Week and a National Pet Week highlighted our connection to animal companions and the importance of ethical treatment for all beings. These moments build circles of belonging. So, how do we process a week like this with its mix of deep concern and simple joys? We practice connecting our inner lives to our values. We can feel grief or anger about injustice and also find strength in collective action, like those working for peace or supporting fair labor. We can challenge distorted thoughts of despair by focusing on tangible efforts of activists and community builders. Our UU, Quaker, and Rising Tide principles guide us to seek truth, promote justice, and live with compassion. This involves the courage to face hard realities, the wisdom to choose healthy responses, and the commitment to act, whether those advocacy, mutual aid, or simply being kind, KIND, as Kind Day reminds us. It's about building a trauma sensitive culture in our own lives and communities. Friends, let us take the lessons of this week forward. Let's honor those who fight for justice and those who care for others. Let's find moments for renewal and joy. And let's commit in our own ways to the to being forces of peace, compassion, and positive change. The world needs our engagement, our hope, and our active love.